As you approach retirement, it can be hard to know if you've set aside enough money in order to finally make the leap. Studies like this one from Alliance found that many people actually fear running out of money more than death. And that actually makes sense. Death is inevitable. Running out of cash, it ain't. So in this video, I'm going to simplify retirement readiness down to 3 critical numbers, so that you can figure out if you're on track for your own retirement. Planning for your retirement can seem like it's filled with a ton of detail. When to take CPP, what rate of return do I need? How long will I live? What will my spending be like? Do I want to leave an inheritance? Should I count on receiving an inheritance myself? At the end of the day, what we find when we meet with people walking through this journey is that they just don't want to be a burden on anyone. Their kids, their family, their loved ones. What they want to know is that they've got enough coming in to do the things that they want, however that looks. They want to maintain enough of a float to never be financially dependent on anyone. Now, when that's been resolved, just like Maslow's hierarchy reminds us, maybe back in high school, when we've got our needs covered, we have our wants covered, we then start to think about our legacy aspirations. What fingerprints do we want to leave on those behind us? And while those are all valid concerns, in this video, we're going to set aside all of that detail, and we're just going to boil this retirement question down to 3 simple numbers that you need to know before you step into retirement. What most people think is that there's one magical number that you need to have in order to retire. This study from BMO found that number to be $1.7 million. Others, like this one from Aon, say you need to have set aside 11 times your pay. But here's the secret. There is no magical number. It's not about a mythical one-size-fits-all number that you're supposed to hit. Literally, every single situation is different. And that's not just a cop-out answer either. It's the truth. So here's how you can figure out what your number is. The first number you need to understand are your expected retirement expenses. For some of you, you'll already have this number completely dialed in. But for many of you, this may be unclear. A good way to think about this is to assume your retirement spending will start looking very similar to your current spending. Most things you'll still be paying for: food, utilities, entertainment, gas, cell phones, property tax. So to figure out what this first number is for you, let's look at what your current after-tax take-home pay is while you're still working. So not your gross number, but your net number. After your payroll taxes, your CPP contributions, all those things that show up on your pay stub. How much are you living on today after tax? Let's start there. Say your number is $10,000 net after tax spending per month. Now, for many people, they plan to eliminate their debt by retirement, but specifically their home mortgage. They want to go into retirement without that burden. So if you're currently spending, let's say $10,000 a month, that mortgage payment is, let's say, $2,000 a month, and it'll be done by the time that you retire. So now you don't need $10,000, you just need $8,000. Easy. We can remove another line item here too, though, and that's your monthly savings. Let's say you are contributing $500 per month each, you and your spouse, to your RSPs while you were both working. So that's another $1,000 combined. When you retire, that's no longer needed. So now we're down from only needing $7,000 per month. We're making progress. Now at this point, some may choose to add back in new expenses that they'd anticipate flavoring their retirement, travel or entertainment, whichever that may be. You can choose to add that in here if that's your vision. If you think that realistically those things might just be covered off of that $7,000 number that we've already determined, then great, you're all set. So that's our first number, your after-tax retirement lifestyle expense. By the way, if we haven't ever met, my name's Steve Willems. I'm a wealth advisor with the Willems Wealth Planning Group out here in British Columbia. We started this channel to help you plan for your own retirement, helping you think about how to plan and arrange your investments, your income, and ideally help you pay less tax along the way. Next, we need to figure out what kind of non-portfolio income you might expect to receive in retirement. Now here we're talking about a few common ones, but also a few irregular ones. CPP, Canada Pension Plan, and Old Age Security, OAS, will be applicable to nearly everyone. Also applicable here may be rental income, say from a basement suite or an investment property. Perhaps you could also plan for some part-time work, seasonal or otherwise. Often we find folks, they'll take on a consulting position here, giving them still full control over their time while still putting them in a position to earn a little bit of extra money in the years, especially in the early years of their retirement. We've seen this done with school administrators, sales professionals, engineers, even accountants during tax time if they really can't avoid it. Other non-portfolio income could also be defined benefit pension plans from your employer, which will pay a specific monthly benefit in retirement through, let's say, a municipal pension plan, a teacher's pension plan, or something along those lines. So let's say I run this for myself, and I find that I add in my CPP of $1,200 for myself, $800 for my wife, OAS of roughly $700 per person, and let's say $600 a month of pension income for my wife. Since she's a teacher, that's going to total about $4,000 per month. That's our second number, our non-portfolio income. So we said we need $7,000 a month. We know we have about $4,000 a month coming in from non-portfolio income sources. This takes us to our third number, the size of our personal savings that we need to have on hand to fill that gap. You could think of this as a portfolio goal, the size of liquid nest egg assets across all of your different accounts to fund that gap. By the time you've gotten here, you know exactly how much you need after tax every single month. So from our example, we need $7,000 a month. We have $4,000 of non-portfolio income, pensions and rental and part-time work. In other words, I need a portfolio that can generate $36,000 for me after taxes, which will allow me to say I have a combined $7,000 per month of income coming in from all sources. So how do we figure out what size portfolio we need to have if we have a $36,000 per year hole to fill? Well, we divide by the withdrawal rate. A 4% withdrawal rate is the most commonly used guideline, suggesting that you can withdraw 4% of your retirement portfolio in the first year of retirement and then adjusting that amount for inflation every subsequent year. The goal here is to provide a steady income stream while maintaining the balance of your portfolio over a 30-year retirement period. So for an average investor, using peer-reviewed academic market data, this withdrawal rate has had a near 100% success rate when you run the numbers all the way going back to 1926. So in our example, if we needed $36,000 a year of income, the 4% rule says that we'd need a $900,000 portfolio. Take the income you need, divided by 4%, that's your portfolio goal. Now, this does admittedly ignore taxes, which unfortunately, as law-abiding citizens here in Canada, we just can't do. So let's say that your entire nest egg was saved up in your RRSPs. So no open account, no non-registered account, no TFSAs. You got a nice tax refund when you put the money into that account, but now when it comes out, it's going to be fully taxable to you. That means that if you need a $36,000 a year top up, you might actually need to withdraw upwards of maybe $44,000 or more to cover the tax bill, depending on your tax rate. Now, when we run our 4% withdrawal rate at that figure, our $900,000 portfolio goal has now stepped up to $1.1 million. This is just a simple napkin calculation, but it does show the big impact of taxes on these numbers. Contrast that with withdrawals from a tax-free savings account, a TFSA, or a non-registered account, which could be significantly more tax efficient. For example, eligible dividends from Canadian companies and capital gains have preferred tax treatment compared to other forms of income. So $36,000 from these sources might actually mean $36,000 in your pocket. Now, crafting a tax-smart retirement withdrawal strategy can save you a substantial amount of taxes over your retirement years. The key is to be strategic about which accounts you withdraw from each year. For example, you might decide to pull from your RSPs if you expect your tax rate to go up in the future. Alternatively, if you expect a lower tax rate down the road, you might prioritize withdrawals from your non-registered accounts first. You'll want to think about your different income sources like different tools in a toolbox. Just as you wouldn't hammer to tighten in a screw, you shouldn't rely on a single account for all of your retirement needs. You'll want to carefully plan which tool you'll use at each stage of your retirement so that you can manage your tax bill, no surprises, and ultimately allow you to keep more of your hard-earned money. Now, 4% isn't some magical or guaranteed number either. For some, say if you're a super conservative GIC term deposit style investor, this actually wouldn't be appropriate. And on the flip side, in other circumstances, you may actually be able to illustrate a higher withdrawal rate, either allowing you to then take out more income from your portfolio or simply having a smaller portfolio to start with while still generating the required amount of income that you need. If you want help looking through your own situation, to get some help figuring out what your number is, factoring in all of the nuance, every week we set aside a few hours to help folks who have their own questions. If you'd like to grab one of those time slots, I'll just put a link in the description below. So by now, you should hopefully have come to realize that there is actually no specific number that everyone needs to have in order to retire. So whenever you see those articles, you can pass them by. The authors of those articles, they don't know you. Your number is your number. And really, there are just three. Know your retirement lifestyle expenses, know your non-portfolio income sources, and know your portfolio goal. When you have those three numbers, you can have the confidence you need to know that you're going to be all right. That's it for now. Thanks for joining me today. I'll see you in the next video.